As PHP developers, we've all worked with objects before, but a solid understanding of object-oriented programming isn't really required to work with existing classes and objects, in most cases. It is, however, important to understand in writing your own classes and communicating your own architecture effectively. I believe that object-oriented terminology can come across a lot more complicated than the concepts it actually represents. At first, it's easy to become overwhelmed when you hear new words like inheritance, abstract, interface, or when you peek inside of a full-featured framework with a namespace file system like Drupal. It is all very approachable. Throughout this series, we'll work in plain PHP, independent of a framework. In this lesson, I'll create a class with a few properties and a method. Since terminology is a major focus, let's start with class. What's a class? A class contains properties and methods. Variables in the context of a class are called properties. Functions in the context of a class are called methods. So don't let the terms properties and methods trip you up. They're all just variables and functions. Class members is another term you might hear. This just refers to contents of a class, and that would make both properties and methods also class members. Let's start by making an image class. We'll do that by using the keyword class space image. We'll use an uppercase to start image off, and it will be camel cased if we had multiple words. And we'll give it a curly brace to open it up. I want to give it 3 properties. I want to give it path, width, and height. To do that, we'll give it a visibility of public and then a variable name. Visibility we'll go over in a future video, but for now we'll just use the public visibility for all of our variables and all of our properties and methods. Width, public, height. And then to define our method, we'll define it the same way. We'll give it a visibility of public, function, get dimensions, and then we'll return this width, and we'll concatenate that with an X and give it a this height. There we go. All right, so as you can see, within a method, I can access properties of this instance using the variable $this. If I had another method in this class, I could also access it with $this. Let's say I had a method named foo. I could access it with this foo, but we don't, so I'll get rid of that. All right, so we have 3 properties in one method. Let's create an object. But what's an object? An object is an instance of a class. I have one image class, but I can create 10 image objects based on this class, each with different values inside of their properties. The term for creating an object from a class is instantiate. So I will instantiate an object from the image class, and I'll do that with the keyword new. Create a variable named image equals new, and we'll call image just like we would call a function, and that instantiates an object from the image class. So now we can assign the path, width, and height properties like so. Path, we'll give it a image.jpg. We'll define the width as 400 and the height is 300. And now what I want to do is print the dimensions to our PHP script. So we'll type print, and then we'll just call the get dimensions method. Image get dimensions. There we go. All right, and over on the right, I have this page loaded up. I'll go and refresh it. We should see 400 by 300. That is the width, x, height. Okay, let's review some terminology. A class has properties and methods, which altogether are class members. Properties are variables. Methods are functions. And an object is an instance of a class.